Good morning, all of you. I am Shweta Sarangi, and in this your third semester, I am teaching you the subject that is your environmental studies. So, in the last class, we have studied about the water conservation and what are the steps taken for the water conservation. And also, we have started the topic that is our rainwater harvesting. Okay. So, what is rainwater harvesting? Water is an essential natural resource for sustaining life and environment. The available water resources are under tremendous pressure due to the increased demands, and time is not fair when water, which we have always thought to be available in abundance and free gift of nature, will become a scarce commodity. Conservation and preservation of water resources are urgently required to be done. Water management has always been practiced in our communities since ancient times, but today this has to be done on priority basis. The Ministry of Water Resources in India is endeavoring to make rainwater harvesting a part of everyday life in our village and cities as a people's movement, and this will go a long way in the management of groundwater as a sustainable resource. While we have taken impressive strides in advanced management of water resources, we also need to learn from the wisdom bestowed by our forefathers. One such wisdom is the concept of rainwater harvesting. It is high time that the government and the people join hands for creating awareness of the importance of rainwater harvesting with the main objective of adopting these measures and techniques throughout the country. A judicious mix of ancient knowledge, a modern technology, public and private investment, and above all, people's participation will go a long way in reviving and strengthening water harvesting practices throughout the nation. Rainwater harvesting is control or utilization of rainwater close to the point rain reaches earth. It is categorized into domestic rainwater harvesting and rainwater harvesting for agriculture, erosion control, flood control, and aquifer replenishment. Domestic rainwater harvesting, also known as roof water harvesting or rooftop rainwater harvesting, is the technique through which rainwater is captured from roof catchments and stored in tanks or reservoirs. Rainwater harvesting systems, both small and large, consist of six basic components. So, what are the basic components? So, the basic components are catchment area, roof, the surface upon which rain falls. Next is gutters and gutters and downspouts, the transport channels from catchment surface to storage. Then is lip screens and roof washers, which are systems that remove contaminants and debris. Second is storage tanks where rain water is stored. And the fifth is water treatment or water treatment systems, filters and equipment, as well as additive to settle, filter and disinfect. The system involves collecting water that falls on zinc, asphalts or tile roof of house during rainstorms and conveying it by an aluminum, PVC, wood or plastic drain or collector to a nearby covered storage unit. The rainwater yield varies with the size and texture of the catchment area. A smoother, cleaner, and more impervious roofing material contributes to better water quality and greater quantity. The most common container nowadays is a metal drum or a barrel with a capacity of about 200 liters set up at the foot of the fall pipe. This is enough to supply a family for 5 to 7 days with 6 liters per person per day, with possibility of using more than one storage barrel. It is interesting to note that annually replenishable resources are assessed as 432 billion cubic meters BCM, and by adopting water harvesting, an additional 160 BCM shall be available for use. The groundwater levels in some areas are falling at the rate of 1 meter per year and rising in some other areas at the same rate. The main causes of fall in groundwater levels are, what are they? Overexploitation or excessive pumping either locally or over large areas to meet increasing water demands. Now, availability of other source of water, therefore sole dependence is on groundwater. Unreliability of municipal water supplies, both in terms of quality and quantity, driving people to their own source. Misuse of ancient means of water conservation like village ponds, wells, percolation tanks, and therefore higher pressure of groundwater development. Next is the main effect of overexploitation of groundwater resources are drastic fall in groundwater levels in some areas, drying off of the well or borewells, enhanced use of energy, deterioration in groundwater quality, ingress of seawater in coastal areas. So these are the main causes which we have studied, and these are the effects of overexploitation of groundwater. Next is main objective. What are the main objective of rainwater harvesting? So to store supplies from the aquifers depleted due to overexploitation. Next is to improve supplies from aquifers lacking adequate recharge, to store excess water for use at subsequent times, to improve physical and chemical quality of groundwater, to reduce storm water runoff and soil erosion, to prevent salinity ingress in coastal areas, to increase hydrostatic pressure to prevent or stop land subsidence, to recycle urban and industrial wastewater, etc., to rehabilitate the existing traditional water harvesting structure like village ponds, percolation tanks, balls, um, tanks, etc., to convert the traditional water harvesting structures into groundwater recharge facilities with minor scientific modification and redesigning, to use the existing defunct wells and borewells after cleaning, and also the operational wells as a recharge structure. Okay, so now we are going to study about the advantages. So what are the advantages of rainwater harvesting? So the expected advantages of rainwater harvesting are rise in groundwater level, increased availability of water from wells, reduction in use of energy from pumping water, reduction of uh, flood hazards and soil erosion, to prevent decline in water level, reduction in the use of energy for pumping water and consequently the cost. 1 meter of water level saves about 0.4 kilolage, assuming 10 hours of pumping per day for 365 days. Improvement in water quality, arresting seawater ingress, mitigating the effects of droughts and achieving drought proofing, effective use of blocks of defunct wells and tube wells as recharge structures, upgrading the social and environmental status. So rainwater harvesting essentially means collecting rainwater on the roof of buildings and storing it underground for later use. Not only rainwater harvesting increasing the water availability, it also checks the declining water table. Every drop of water has to be saved, and this will ensure that water is not wasted. Moreover, rainwater harvesting is not only simple but economical too. The process of rainwater harvesting is environmental friendly, helps improve groundwater quality, helps to meet increasing demand for water, particularly in urban areas, and prevent flooding of roads. In Madhya Pradesh, more than 1,000 check dams, 1,050 tanks, and 1,100 community lift irrigation schemes have been implemented in uh, Jhabua district. The result, drought proofing achieved and food production increased by 38% in the past 5 years. Moreover, micro watershed project with people's participation in Ghela Choti village, Jhabua district has been implemented. The Result is that cultivated areas increased and yield per hectare doubled. Low cost small farm reservoirs along with improved crop and soil management systems tried in Chhattisgarh region and Madhya Pradesh, and it augmented groundwater storage, saved paddy from water stress during extended dry spells in 1999 to 1991 and 1991 to 1992. District administration in Individuals made rooftop rainwater harvesting mandatory for all houses having tube wells and bent tube well drilling. This resulted in improved soil moisture and recharged first aquifer. This technique is also popular in the other states like Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, etc. Okay, thank you.